All right, folks, championship weekend is here. There are only 4 teams left, and I'm starting to get a little bit depressed because there are only 3 games left in this NFL season, and this weekend is really the last day of football until August, because I know we got the Super Bowl after that, but that turns into more of a spectacle than it is about the actual football. So it's really coming to a close fast, and then I won't have anything to watch or do until next August. So kind of winding down here, but I wanted to go back to Sunday. I know I'm a couple days late on this video, so I wanted to go back and give my 4 most interesting things from the NFL weekend, from divisional round weekend. So first one, I think this is more of a big picture thing, but to me it is becoming pretty obvious that NFL teams are becoming more conservative. And what do I mean by that? So I looked up the stats here today, and according to Pro Football Reference, this is the lowest passing yards per game. 2024 season is the lowest passing yards per game in the last 16 seasons. So passing yards are way down. And if you look at rushing yards, this is the second highest rushing yards per game this season since 1989. So when I look at that, teams are trying to run the ball more. If you look at the teams that are left, a lot of them are really good running teams, or the teams that were in the final 8, So teams are running a lot more. But if you look at these playoffs, it's obvious that teams are really prioritizing not turning the football over. And that seems obvious, but if you look at the teams who did not turn the ball over, right now they're 8-1 in this playoff. So it's pretty obvious teams are becoming more conservative, and they're trying to run the ball more than they have in the past. And I think that's really interesting from a draft prospect and how teams build their teams, because it is pretty obvious that they're becoming more conservative. Number 2, the Ravens and Lamar lose another big game. And this was a game that I thought they should have won. I thought they were the better team the entire game. And if you look at that, if Mark Andrews doesn't fumble the ball, he doesn't have that big drop, and Lamar doesn't have 2 terrible turnovers, I think they win that game comfortably. I thought they were the better team the entire time. If you take out 2 turnovers that were very costly, I thought Lamar was better than Josh Allen. Josh Allen did not really have to do a whole lot in that game, but they lose another big game. And right now, I think it's pretty obvious that Lamar is not the same quarterback in the playoffs as he is during the regular season. And I pulled some stats here this morning from what I consider the big 3 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So if we look at their postseason stats, Patrick Mahomes in his postseason career has 47 touchdowns, 17 turnovers. Josh Allen has 30 touchdowns, 12 turnovers. Lamar has 13 touchdowns, 11 turnovers. He turns the ball over at a much higher rate in the postseason than he does in the regular season. And I don't know if he's trying to do too much or what's going on, but he now has 4 of his 8 playoff games. He has multiple turnovers per game. And if you look at his stats compared to Allen and Mahomes, he is not close right now when it comes to the postseason. So I'm really interested to see what kind of moves they can make in the offseason. But that was a game they should have won, and I think they would have beaten the Chiefs on Sunday had they won it. Number 3. Jaden Daniels has been awesome. Right now, he's averaging 327 yards per game in the playoffs, and he has 4 touchdowns and no turnovers. I think he is quickly rising up the ranks as the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and going into next season, I think he'll be a top 5 quarterback. If you would have given me 10 guesses as to who was going to be in the NFC Championship this year, the Commanders would not have been in my top 10. And he's really got them playing well, and I think they're going to play the Eagles very close on Sunday. Number 4. My picks this year have been awful. I am down significantly versus last year, and if you look at what I did on Sunday, I was 2-2 straight up, and I was 0-3-1 against the spread. But the one that really killed me is I thought the Rams were going to win that game, and I still think they should have won that game. I think they would have won that game had it not been in the snow and the terrible conditions. It was pretty obvious to me that one team was prepared to play in the snow and one was not. Stafford had a very costly fumble. Kyron Williams had a very costly fumble, and that was basically the game. And that's why you play so hard during the regular season, so you can get home field advantage and play in your building. But the Rams let me down this weekend. I thought they're going to win. I still think they were the better team. And I don't think there's ever a team as frustrating as the Eagles that have made it this far. It seems to me that their whole offense is built around, let's see if Saquon Barkley can break off 2 big runs a game. And so far, it's worked pretty well, but I haven't seen a lot else other than that. And number 5, that leads into number 5. I think Saquon Barkley now is the best non-quarterback in the NFL. And I've said it all season, over 200 yards rushing. And if it were not for him, they would not have won that game this weekend. They would be going home. And he was awesome. He had 2 huge runs for touchdowns. And like I said, I think he's the best non-quarterback in the NFL, and I don't think it's particularly close. So I want to get to my picks for this weekend. So number 1, the early game. I'm going to take the Commanders -6. And let me be clear. I think the Eagles are going to win this game, but I think Jaden Daniels is going to keep it close. I think he's going to score enough points to keep this close. But I think the Eagles have the best player on offense in Saquon Barkley and the best player on defense in Jalen Carter. Those are the two best players in the game, and the Eagles have them both. I think they'll grind them down and eventually win a very close game and advance on to the Super Bowl. For the late game, and this is what I think is the de facto Super Bowl. I think whoever wins this game is going to win the Super Bowl. I am going to take the Bills +2. I think the Bills are a better team right now. I don't think the Chiefs have the firepower to keep up with the Bills. If this was in Buffalo, I would take the Bills by a touchdown. But since it's an Arrowhead, I'm going to take the Bills 27-24. I think they've been the best team all year. They had that huge win against the Lions where they really took it to them. And since that point, I think they've just been outstanding. I think just as the best Josh Allen, or at least most efficient Josh Allen has ever played in his career, and I think they finally break through, beat the Chiefs, and I think they're going to go on to win the Super Bowl. So that's how I see it. We'll see what happens here on Sunday, and we'll talk to everyone later.